Yes, hello my dear students. Welcome back to the St. Joseph Composite PU College, Vijaypur. I'm Rahul, Chemistry faculty. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss electrochemistry. The electrochemistry is a branch of science which usually deals with the interconversion of the electrical and you can say that chemical energies. Let me write this point. The electrochemistry deals with very important phenomena called as interconversion of conversion of electric and chemical energies. Okay, and because of that there are two processes we can generate. Okay, so the one process where, let me say here, let me take the process where the chemical energy is converted into is converted into electrical energy. You notice that some of the cell even in the mobile phone contains some kind of batteries. They work on this only. The chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, right? And such cells are called here as the you can say that galvanic cell or voltaic cell. Okay, or you can call it as a galvanic cell also. There are other type of the process where electrical energy is converted into chemical energies. This is a direct conversion. Electric energy is converted into chemical energy, and such device which converts electrical energy into chemical energy are called as electrolytic cells. Electrolytic cell. So right now we'll focus on the voltaic cell or the Daniell cell. Okay, now the important thing about the Daniell cell, this is sometimes called as a galvanic cell also. Let me write here galvanic cell. So we'll see that what is there in the galvanic cell, how it is constructed. Now important thing about a galvanic cell that it contains two electrodes. So let me draw one electrode here. So this is the first electrode. This electrode is made by zinc metal. Like that we need here two electrodes. So we have two electrodes, and two electrodes are separated from each other, but they are connected through a wire. So some kind of wire is there here. So this wire contains switch, and you can take here voltmeter or galvanometer, something you can take to measure the current. Okay, now the end of the wire is connected to the another electrode. Now let me take this electrode as zinc electrode and this electrode as copper electrode. Okay, now both the electrodes are dipped in a certain container. Say this is a container where these two electrodes are dipped separately. They are not connected with each other. Okay, now it is filled with the water. Okay, we'll take initially it is present water is present here. Okay, we'll take that. Now what we'll do that, if it is zinc is there, we'll produce here zinc sulfate solution. We'll take here zinc sulfate solution now. The blue color is zinc sulfate, and let here also the blue color zinc copper sulfate will be there. Respective ion sulfate will be there. So here I will put here ZnSO4, and that ZnSO4 is present in the form of aqueous solution, and here it will be copper sulfate CuSO4, and that again in the form of aqueous form. Now actually it contains a salt bridge. I don't want to show the salt bridge right now. Let me show you a process, how the process taking place. So this is all about the construction of Daniell cell, except I not shown here the salt bridge. Important part is there, salt bridge, but let it be. First let me explain this. Now when circuit is completed, the zinc atoms which are present here, this is a zinc atom which is present here, it get dissociated into two ions or two parts. Like Zn, which is solid electrode is there, it dissociate into Zn plus 2 and giving 2 electrons. Now these 2 electrons are flowing on the zinc electrode to reach the galvanometer, show some deflection, and again it reaches. This is the direction of flow of electron. This is how the electron reaches the copper electrode. Now you know that the copper sulfate is ion which is dissociated into copper plus 2 and SO4 minus 2. The copper plus 2 is electron deficient right now because it's carrying plus 2 charge. And here we have 2 electrons which are given by the zinc. Now, as soon as 2 electrons reach this copper electrode, the copper electrode which are present in the dissolved form get deposited on the copper rod by consuming here 2 electrons. That reaction we can represent here. The copper, which is already in the plus 2 oxidation state, gains 2 electrons. And let me show here aqueous because plus 2 oxidation state of the copper present in the water. Now these two combines and form here copper, which is 0 oxidation state. That is solid. Same thing you can write for the zinc also. The zinc plus 2 is dissolving. Here I showed the zinc plus is dissolving in the water, and it's in the plus 2 oxidation state. We can write a net reaction here. The net reaction is like this: Zn plus copper plus 2. The 2 electrons get cancelled here. It gives rise to Zn plus 2, and we get here copper. Okay, this is how the process takes place. But now come to the next point. Now there is another zinc atom is there that is want to dissolve in a water. But right now in the entire process one zinc atom is dissolved, therefore it is positively charged. Positive solution it is. Okay. So therefore as the zinc here try to dissociate, there is a repulsion between the zinc ion and the solution here. That is not allow the another zinc plus 2 ion to dissolve into the water. And therefore the another atom of the zinc do not get dissolved here. However, by anyhow the zinc get dissolves, the electrons are produced and they reach a galvanometer, show some deflection, and then electron reach the copper. But you can notice that in the previous case when the copper plus 2 is removed off, which is deposited in a copper rod leaving behind a SO4 minus 2, therefore this solution is turned into negative. This is negative solution. And this is negative solution, and because of that what happens here? The electrons never get migrate to this electrode because this electrode is dipped in a negative environment. And by that there is a repulsion takes place, therefore the electron move back to the zinc electrode. The process will not continue. Okay. To overcome this problem, there is a device called as a salt bridge. We add here salt bridge. This is U-shaped tube containing some cotton in that or gel in that, and it contains certain chemicals like KCl, or you can add NH4NO3, right? So these are very interesting molecules because they completely dissociate. Now assume that if I added here KCl, now this solution is positively charged, and because of that what happens here? The KCl get dissolved here. Okay, the KCl dissolve and giving here 2 Cl ions, 2 Cl minus ions, and these 2 Cl minus ion combine with Zn, which is dissolved previously, and forming here 2 Cl minus will be there and forming here Zn Cl2. Again that dissociate here and giving here Zn plus 2 and 2 Cl minus. But this entire solution which is positively charged, now this get cancelled and converted into neutral. Neutral it is. Okay. Now this time the second magnesium atom can dissociate here and giving the Zn plus 2 and giving back 2 electrons here. Now 2 electrons want to reach here, but still there is a repulsion is that between the sulfate ions, and therefore in this side the K, as the Cl minus goes now, in the same way in this direction there is 2 K plus ions will go, and these 2 K plus ions react with the sulfate ions which are present in a solution SO4 minus 2 and giving rise to KSO4 or K2SO4, which is again dissociate and to K plus, that is 2K plus and SO4 minus 2. Okay, these are the ions, and now this negative solution get removed and become here neutral. Now the electron can reach the copper rod and one of the copper ion which is dissolved in water and get deposit again. Okay, so every time whenever the electron reaches to zinc to the copper, the same time the Cl minus ions and K plus ions are dissolved here. Okay, this is how the process takes place, students. We can list out here what are the things happen in this reaction. The first thing that is happening here, that zinc start dissolving here. Zinc start dissolving. Next, copper, you can notice in the diagram, let me show this. As the zinc ions are dissolving here, that is with the time it get disappears, and here the copper ions get deposited on the copper rod, and therefore the size of the copper rod will increase here. So therefore you can say that the copper get deposited, the copper get deposited on copper rod. Okay. Third point, that is, if you are using ammeter, the indicate the flow of electrons from zinc to copper, as I mentioned here. Ammeter shows movement of electrons from zinc to copper rod, from zinc to copper rod. Next, the observation is that as the copper sulfate solution becomes more dilute with respect to copper plus 2 ions, okay, that is not important, let it be. The migration ion takes place in the solution. Migration of ions takes place in the solution. Okay. Now, these all processes continue as long as zinc, a rod in a zinc sulfate solution, and copper plus 2 ions in copper sulfate solution remains and connections are maintained. So it will go on transferring the electrons. Okay. The entire above observation can be explained by the following oxidation reduction reactions taking place at different electrodes. Right. At zinc electrode, something very interesting happening that we have to list electrode. We'll list that here at zinc electrode. What is happening here? Zinc goes into the solution as Zn plus 2. Right. So liberating 2 electrons that we have to represent in the form of equation, that is Zn is solid converted into Zn plus 2, that should be aqueous, and giving 2 electrons. So here the loss of electrons takes place, and therefore you can say that this is oxidation process. On the other hand, at copper rod or copper electrode, the opposite process is happening there. That is, the copper, which is plus 2 oxidation state and dissolved in the aqueous medium, gains 2 electrons which are given by the zinc and converted into copper 0 oxidation state, and that should be solid. Now you can say that the oxidation state of the copper here plus 2 and here it is 0, means the positive charge is reduced, and therefore it is a reduction process. Already most of the students know that the oxidation and reduction occurs simultaneously. Therefore we have to represent the entire reaction taking place at here. That is, we have to sum these two reactions. When we sum these, we'll get here Zn, which is solid, react with Cu2 plus aqueous, and that converts, because 2 electrons we're going to cancel here, and forming here Zn plus 2 aqueous plus copper 0 oxidation state. Now the first one is called as a half cell reaction. This half cell reaction, and second one is called as again half cell reaction, and the last one, which showing the combination of oxidation and reduction half cells, is called as a cell reactions. This is the most important, student. How to write the cell reactions is very important. Okay, now this is all about the, you can say, the Daniell cell. Now we'll see the conventions by the, you can say that conventions means what type of electrode shows what kind of process. Okay, as I mentioned here, oxidation is taking place at the zinc electrode and production of electron taking place at that moment, means negative charge is produced there. So therefore we can say that the electrode at which the oxidation occurs is anode. Okay, oxidation occurs at anode, and the second one we can write the opposite, that is the reduction occurs at cathode, because there is a positive charge is there. Okay, anode and cathode. Thus, in the above cell, the zinc electrode acts as anode. Okay, here in the example we can write zinc Zn act here as anode because the electrons are produced. You can go and check here. And copper is the no, it is act here as cathode. This is very important, anode and cathode. Okay. Now in the galvanic cell, the anode, whatever is there, we referred it as that the oxidation process is taking place. We always treat as it is as a negative. We take the terminology as negative. The another one is called as here as positive. The negative electrode and positive electrode. So this is the term we have to remember here. Okay. Okay, this is all about, students, regarding the Daniell cell. The remaining part we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you for watching this, students.